the loss of 2 weeks or 3, like Hawthorne study, like as we discussed about, Hawthorne is a place, is a plant of electrical company where this experiment was conducted by Elton Mao, that a person who is the founder or the father of human relationship, who's the founder or the father of human relationship. He did some experiments when a company faced a problem. When a company faced a problem of ineffectiveness, the performance were declined. That's why they called a researcher that from the Harvard University, that Elton Mao come with has associates. Close the door. Elton Mao, he came with has associates. Associate means the other members. He was not alone. He came with the other associate, means the other members, and he conducted a research. Before a research, he started to draw a hypothesis, a perceptions. He draw first. As he draw the hypothesis, then he conducted the research on it. Normally, he did it 4 hypotheses. He generated 4 hypotheses, and he conducted a research. In every research, it gains something. We gain some knowledge from it. In every research, after conclusion, they will deliver some knowledge. After this research, furthermore, researchers has started after this research, Hawthorne study, because this study can shows to the people that there is also a place that you can conduct a research that is in human relationship. If you remember at the first phase, experiment of illumination, Hawthorne or Elton Mao, he divided into 2 groups. When he was conducting illumination, he divided the people into 2 groups. One called control group, another called experiment group. Test group or experiment group. Now, what he has done, he increased or decreased the lighting effect. An experiment group, he increased and decreased the lighting effect in experiment group, and he did not increase and decrease in a control group. He did not did that, but he did all the things in experiment group. What happened after conducting this research? At the end, he gained that there is no effect between illumination and employee performance. Although this research was based off to see is there any relationship between illumination and employee performance, but there was no relationship between illumination and employee performance. But there was something else. There was something else that affect on employee performance, because the research is not end here. It's not ended here, because they said that there is something else. What was that something else? Monitoring, evaluation, observation. Elton Mao said that when you put observation, evaluation on employees, and the employees know that they're already familiar that we are being observed, so ultimately the performance will increase. From the first study, we gained that although this study was failed, although the first experiment was failed, but still we got some knowledge that there was an effect of controlling, monitoring, observation that we are having on our employees. When we are having observation, controlling our own employees, so ultimately the performance will increase. That was the first experiment. As you see that if you remember the second experiment, relay assembly test room experiment. Relay, that is experiment of assembly test room experiment. As if you remember that I told you guys that in this experiment, our researchers choose 2%. Those 2% were expert, right? And they choose their members for them. Maximum 6 members. In a second phase, what have done in a relay assembly test room, our researchers tried what? He gave too much benefits. Gave too much benefits to these employees. And benefits in the term of relaxations, flexibility in time, working hours, flexibility, or what we have, vacations, Sunday vacation, or giving lunch, breakfast, or snack food. Remember that? Giving that, yeah. And also they are involving, and also they are involved in a decision making. Whenever a leader or a team manager that decide to have any decisions, they involve these members. So what happened? That ultimately that increased the employee performance. It means that whenever if you want to increase the performance of somebody, to give benefit. In benefit, look, everyone need. If you want to give benefit in terms of monetary, increasing the salary, they also increase the salary. The best on the performance. They increase the salary of employees. The more you work hard, your salary will be increased up. So definitely it will affect on your performance. If I give you vacation, holiday, a day off on a Sunday day off, or relaxation of time, whenever you finish your work, go to home. You are not bound up to 4 o'clock or 6 o'clock. Finished, go earlier. Finish your task and go back. So that benefits, perks affect the employee performance. Ultimately, performance increase. Now researcher decided, let's go reverse. The researchers did what? He give the time, if you remember, at the first, researcher give the time of relaxation from 10 to 5 to 10. But they decreased the time of rest to 5. Now decrease. Again, the salary decrease, the benefits are decreased. Now here, students, they hear the girls are start complaining. They start complained. That when they start complaining, ultimately the performance decreased. So researchers know that. Researchers understood that there is a relationship between the benefits, having the relationship between employee performance. If you want to increase the performance, so there is relation. You have to give the benefits. Now the research is not end here. In the first stage, we got what we have learned. The monitoring observation can affect on employee performance. The second stage, the benefits affect on employee performance, which increase. And the third stage, if you remember, mass interview conducted. Mass interview program. Actually, the program, the objective was what? This experiment is to find out employees' attitudes toward supervisor, company, wages, facilities, promotions, and their morale. Now in here, researchers tried to conduct another research. 22,000, they conduct the research on 22,000 employees with the help of, they go with a direct question at first. At the beginning, they went for direct question. They asked from employees, like, do you like your supervisor? And they demanded, your answer should be yes or no. Now, this experiment, this strategy did not work properly. They went for another strategy. They say that, do you like supervisor? The answer is up to you. That is open-ended question. Whatever you say that, whatever we are listening. Now researcher here, he skipped himself as a listener. Say, do you like your supervisor? Yes, I like it. Now why do you like it? Explain it. You don't like it? Why? Explain it. Now that is open-ended questions. That is what? Open-ended question where our observer give explanations. Now in here, a mass interview, in here what said? And a worker asked these questions. At the end, what we gain from this mass interview? We gain that the behavior of individual overall. Individual behavior cannot affect on individual, but the group behavior can affect on individual. Overall, the group behavior, who is the group behavior? The leader can make the environment of that group. right? The leader of make that environment. Now if a leader, whatever the leader can behave, so definitely it can affect on individual. So in here we get that there is a human relationship. From here we got the knowledge of human relationship. What we got the knowledge of human relationship. So this research we only know that the human relationship, that there is effect on performance when the behaviors change. When the behavior change, that can affect on employee performance or individual performance. Now here for the in the third phase, we got the knowledge of human relationship. Now in the fourth phase, in here we have now phase number 4. In phase number 4, bank wiring observation room. In bank wire observation room, the main object of this study to find exact information. Now in the third phase, we got to know the relationship. Now further we know about the relationship furthermore. We know the relationship. Is there how the relationship can affect? If you remember that, the objective of what? This study is to find out exact information. The informal group and plant and what are the factors and causes that influence the workers' productivity. If the people's having relationship between that informally, look, you guys are here sitting. You have a relationship of informal, not a formal. But the relationship of viewers in with me, that is a formal. But among you, that is informal. Informal decision, informal relationship can affect on your organization performance. Now what do you have in here? That we get to know that a group of these workers, what we have, the experiment is done in where? They selected 9 wiremen, 3 soldiers and 2 inspectors, and the research is done on these 3, the step-by-step fixing switches. Now a work involves step-by-step process fixing. Now what I have done in there, the concept in the fourth one, they said that employees, the performance increase on a base of payment. If we increase the payment, so ultimately the performance will increase. The performance will increase. The payment, what happened? The payment was based on the group. So this they would help each other productivity. Similarly we have, they say that the researchers say that if we increase the payment of individual person on the base of their performance, so ultimately they will be each of the producing more. The group, each will be produce more.
Payment compensation.
Payment compensation, yeah. Now workers, what have target? What have done that? Look in here. The question was that the observer was trying to know that if we increase the compensation or the payment of individual employees, ultimately they will produce more. A company put a target. A company put a target for who? For employees. Company said to employees, achieve this target. Now what have done? What workers done? Workers, they made informal group. They made informal group and they know each other. And they want to know each other that, like for example, here in this group, this person is a talented and this person is a comparatively less, and this was again less, and this was again comparatively lesser. She can contribute less. It may be contribute more. But if she contribute more, if this person contribute less, the company will fire this. Will fire or not? Because the company expecting this performance, not this performance. Now what have done? They get together. They said that let's get together. They make an informal group. They said that we have a social life. Every person has responsibilities of home. Is it right or not? Now they have done what? What they have done? They did all together lower. For this day, what is that? The workers' target is lower than plant targeted. Work decided. Who? Workers decided. The workers decided. They decided. These 4 decided. What they have decided? Let's do work lesser. The target of what? Target of organization, target of objective, that they have a plan that set objective for us. Let's do lesser work, so we will save. If we did more, so definitely that will convert, that will be automatically become a standard. A standard means a rules, a law. For example, if you perform well, if one of you perform more than this, so what will happen? The company will look toward this. He will say that if she can do it, you can also can do it too. Why you can't you? If she can, why don't you? If you don't want to give as like her performance, so you will be fired. So that's why they came together and they lower the target, lower their work, decrease their performance. What was the reason? Produce more, affect the workers' unemployment. If they produce more, if one of them produce more, that will be effect on unemployment. Maybe they will be fired. One of them will be fired. From here, as I give the example of one of or two, if these two are perform well, if they are not perform well, so definitely the company will fire these two, because the company expected this. Expectation was this, but they become informal. They arranged, they made informal group, and informal group, they get together on one concern. They said that yes, we will give that much performance rather than more than this. Is it clear? So what the next workers reach to target, companies rise the standards. Let's suppose if one of employees achieve the target, the company will make this standard. The company will make this standard that everyone should achieve. The company will make a rules policies that every person should achieve. But that will affect ultimately on the workers of who are weaker, who are less smarter. Definitely that will affect on their performance. So if the company demand that much performance, so the other workers will not be able to give. So definitely the company will decide to struck off, to make them or simply you can say that they will fire from the organization. Is it clear or not? So workers form a social group to responsibilities to work, to know the responsibilities. Now what I have done, faster workers protected them for not overproducing. Those employees who are faster, as I give an example of this, like one of or two or three, this one is the faster. He can produce well. He have the capability to produce well. What about other employees? What about other workers? Then organization will put the eyes on that person who is a smarter, who is a faster, and that demanding for all. They say that if this person can do, so all can do that, because all of you have a human being. Why you can't do this? So they will make a standard. So a faster, what I say that? Faster workers protected them for overproducing. To not produce over. Make your production, make your performance lesser, so that the company need everyone. If you produce less, less, together all can contribute similar things. If you produce more, if this person produce less, so it will what happen? The company will start comparing. So that will affect. So now what? The group you found, the social system that you have found, that is informal social, but that is a comparatively effect on organization system. What I have done? This study imposed informal relationship. Informal relationship are important factor for determining the human behavior. Human behavior. Look, the moment you meet informal relationship, now we understand the human behavior. We understand the behavior of you. What have the expectations for you, for him, for her? I suppose, right? Like if this four groups made, this is one group is made for. Every person is individual contributing. Now they understood the behavior, because humans are full of emotions. They understood the behavior of others. Understood what is the need, the benefits of, or the lack, or the disadvantage, or the deficiency of another. For hiding that, they will come together and do a proper work. Now they have made an informal group. An informal group can affect On there, they are saving themselves from unemployment. A smarter work is not saving herself. Actually, she is saving all. She is saving all, although she is a smarter, but she will not contribute as she has the capability, but she will contribute as the other members are. Is it clear or not? Now what do you have? The study of relationship behavior to maintain good relationship at the plant. What the researchers say that? Now in here, the researchers suggested. Researchers suggested to who? To employees. Try to have a good relationship between employees and employer. Now what do you have? To maintain good relationship. Plant is the industry we have. Place. What do you have? A researcher or analyst, he emphasized on what? On a worker's relationship with the management, personal adjustment. Personal adjustment means do not show your overconfidence as compared to other workers, because your overconfidence will affect on other performance, other people's. Maybe now what we have? Satisfaction, motivation, and many other aspects. Look, good relationship can affect. When you have a good relationship between employees and employer, so definitely it will affect on your performance. You will be motivated, you will be satisfied, and you can easily justify yourself or adjust yourself in that environment. Is it clear? So human relation is very important. Try to have a human relationship. Try to have a relationship between employer and employees. Is it clear? So what we have in here? Implication of the Hawthorne study. What do you have? Implication of Hawthorne study. Implication means to bring in a practical. What we gain from Hawthorne study. What we have learned from Hawthorne study. How we can implement this in our daily life. How we can bring it into our businesses. How we can bring into our real life. From now it is clear. It's clear the factory of a social system, an informal group can affect the performance, can affect the behavior as compared to formal group. If you remember, at the past, when there were no research, when there was not conducting a research, there was a formal, there was a group of formal group. In a formal group, what? The leader just give order, was giving only order, that's it. And the followers and the members will follow that. But right now what happened? Informal group or social system, the social system that you have made. How you have made the social system? You know each other behaviors. When you know each other responsibilities, and you made a social system. Social system. You made a social system which affect the behavior. Behavior of who? Behavior of employees. As compared to informal, as compared to formal. Formal means formal having no instructions. Informal, they are just giving order. Do this activity, that's it. Now what do you have? Social system and informal group effect on the employee as compared to formal. Not just economical. So another finding, another implication. Implication what? That human is not economic main. Economic main means what? Money cannot motivate a person. Only money cannot motivate a person to work. People only, they will not work for money. They will not be, if you want to say that, if I increase the salary of this person, he or she will be motivated, they will perform well. So that is not the term. What do you have that? Not a just economic main. So sometime a non-monetary can affect, having important effect on a where? On a work, employee work, attitude. Look, money, giving extra payment cannot motivate a person. Sometimes you have to go for non-monetary. In non-monetary, what we have? You have to give facilities, benefits, relaxations. Work environment should be relaxable work design, holidays, paid vacations. These are the things which make a person motivated. You got it? Now what? Now one thing more, that always there is a conflict between employer and employees. When we understand there is a conflict between employer and employees, why there is a conflict? Why there is a disagreement? Just because of mismatch. Mismatch mean what? What does it mean, mismatch? When organization does not understand the objective of employees, and employees did not understand the objective of employer. When an employer did not communicate properly, has objective to employees, and so there will be gap. If you are an employer and you did not communicate your ideas, your objective to your employees, how your employees get to know that? How they can achieve that? For example, our top management demanded that, the demand is what? Work for excellence. Look, being a top management, if I'm in a top management, I'm saying that work for excellence. I'll come down to meet Mary. I'll come down and to meet my subordinates and I tell them what? Work for excellence is the core objective of this industry. Now every employee understood that we should work for excellence. We should give 100%, too much effort to our organization, so that will be excellence will come. If the top management did not communicate and he was expecting in his mind excellence work, but employees are, and they did not know how to perform well, how to perform toward excellency, toward the excellent. So if they did not know, so how they can perform? So there must be communication between top management and lower management, so that there shouldn't be a conflict arise. Is it clear? So what do we have? Sometimes informal leaders, they bring impressive than a formal leader. Look, formal leader is a leader who give only order. Do this. What about informal leader? Formal leader give order, do this. They will not interact with you. But informal leader, he will come with you, he will ask you, he will sit with you and ask about your overall activities, your overall performance, and motivating you, understand your behavior, your emotions. So from here, informal group or informal leader, he or she understood all that, the motivations, all the behaviors, all emotion factors of you. That look, when a top management must understand his employees. When he did not come toward down and meet the employees, so all the time problem will arise, a conflict will arise. For removing the conflict, for removing the disagreements, for removing the problem, a top management come down and meet individually, every person individually, so that he or she can understand the internal emotions of individual. Is it clear? So what do you have? Group attitude objective. When a leader come down, a informal leader come down, so group attitude will be show objective and efficiency of formal, then formal group. When he come down and meet, and he will define the group attitude, the behavior of the people, the efficiency of the people, comparatively formal group. Is it clear? Look, one thing we have, everything in the life, in this world, everything having criticisms. Critics are there. تنقيد ده هر جايز. نقطة چینی ده هر جايز. آس یعنی تنقید. You know criticism means انتقادگر. Every place there is. کسی خوب کار میکنه هم مردم سرش انتقاد میکنه. People are objection on it. This study, from the loss of many years conducted, still it has some critics. There are some criticisms. Criticisms are there. What was the first criticism? A scientist said that, scientists believe that the conclusion which is draw from this, the conclusion what we have learned, all the conclusions, the new scientists say that the conclusion which draw from this study was not scientifically, what? Scientific, I have lack of scientific objective. Lack of scientific objective. What critics was there? The second criticism was what? The way unfairness perception on the part of the Harvard research. Unfairness means biased research. Biasness means because it was conducted by who? By Harvard research, by Harvard business, Harvard University. Now they say that it's conducted by Harvard University, and Harvard University tried to bring a positive result to the market, to show to the market. That is unfair because that result was on their perception. That was not on a generalized perception. They want to, because if that would be negative, if that result would be a negative, so that would show that the researcher of Harvard University are not compatible or able to do a research. That's why this research was a biased research. It is by force. By force, these situations, these conclusions are which is drawn, that will be by force drawn for the sake of to bring their image, to make their image to the market. That was only the criticisms. But ignored the existence. Another criticism that they ignored the existence trade unions. Trade unions means they conduct only from one place. That only Hawthorne industry. What about others? What about other peoples? What about external? That was internal employees. What about external employees? They ignored all the external employees. That was the critics.
First one is that more details about the first one.
The first one? Scientists believe conclusions drawn lack of scientific objective. Scientific objective means that there did not create a way for understandable objective. Like we have a scientific, there's a process, a step-by-step process we have. But they did not come as a step-by-step process. They did not come in a step-by-step process because there is a lack of, a loss of deficiencies there. They said that there is no scientific method. A step-by-step, there is no a step-by-step process. Right? Next, the third one, they ignore the trade union. The fourth one, there is no, look, the fourth one, there is three criticism. They said human relation is although we have different characteristics, different critics in here, but although this research came with the human relation is an important part of the company. Critics was there, but this research came with what? With the idea of what? That human relation is an important part of the company. If we ignore this human, if our company our company will perform well? No. We have to look after the human relationship. We have looked after about the humans so that we gain something, so that we make them motivated to look. In the past, people would ignore the human relation. They were decline. The performance would decline. Now, today in this world, in the current 21st century, people are looking for human relationship. That's why they are in the top positions. As you're looking at Apple, Google, Microsoft, where they are in the top. They are providing a lot of benefits to who? To their employees. Whatever the benefits, whatever we say that they are providing to their employees. For the sake of what? They have a good human relationship. Why? When you have a good human relationship, ultimately your employees will perform well. Employee will be dedicated. You will be committed toward your organizations. Human relationship. Employees with employees, employee with employer, top management with employees. That is it. Within employees or with an employer. That is human relation. Now what we have? The last one. This research draw the attention. Attention of who? Draw the attention that too social need has the additional source of motivation. After this research, after completing of this research draw the attention to the people that hey, do not ignore the human social. Like I said, do not ignore the social needs. The social needs, do you know about that? Basic needs, hierarchy, the basic needs. We have physiological needs. Yeah, we have these all sort of needs we have. That is the basic, somehow we have basic needs, physiological needs, and then we have further we have, that is the affection needs we have, or self-esteem, self-actualization. These are the needs of employees. In a society, every person having needs. We are not ignoring that. In this research, they showed to the world that you are not able to ignore this social needs. Because when you consider a social needs effective, ultimately it gives the extra additional source of motivation. Is it clear? That was about Hawthorne study.